Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today we are baking up I'm sorry, this is like the third take of this video, so we're hoping that this one actually works. We are baking up a big batch of chocolate cupcakes, so I wanted to share with you my chocolate cake recipe. This can be made into a cake, a 3-layer cake, or a big batch of cupcakes like we're doing today. So I hope that you enjoy the video, and let's go ahead and get started. So to start with, I have 3 cups of flour in the biggest mixing bowl that I have. We're also going to do, now this is a 1-bowl mix, so if you don't like having to like cream butter and then add ingredients and all that kind of stuff, you're gonna love this because it's basically throw it all in 1 bowl and it works for you. So to our 3 cups of flour, we're gonna add 3 cups of sugar. Okay, 3 cups of sugar. And then we're gonna do 1.5 cups of cocoa powder. Get the best cocoa powder that you can find, unsweetened of course, because the better the cocoa powder, the better the cake flavor is going to be. Right, and now we are going to add in the rest of our dry ingredients, which is Nathan's fault that he didn't bring them over here. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And then 1 whole tablespoon of baking soda.
Baking Yoda.
Oh, you're so funny.
Mm.
Okay, now at this point, before we actually go ahead and start mixing in the wet ingredients, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a mix just to get all of the dry incorporated together. Just for ease, I'm gonna use my hand mixer, but you can do this recipe just with a spatula or a spoon. You don't have to have a mixer for it at all. Just make sure when you're putting, if you're using hand mixer like I am, when you're putting it in, that you put it deep down in and start it very slow. Tried to turn it off and I turned it higher.
Cupcake smoke. Don't breathe this.
Yeah, you will probably get cocoa powder all over the place. And I'm just gonna grab a spatula just to make sure the sides got mixed in, which they didn't. So that's one of the things I don't like about hand mixers, is I don't feel like you can get the sides very well. But it is nice to have them for things like this. A little easier. Okay, so that is pretty well stirred in now. There's still a little bit of white flour, but I mean, that's fine. We're just trying to make sure that for the most part everything's together. Now, at this point, if you want to, you can mix all of your wet ingredients in a separate bowl and then mix it in here. I've done it both ways before. I don't have a problem just throwing everything in here and doing it like that, so that's what I'm gonna do. Do you need to cough?
No.
Okay. So the first of our wet ingredients is gonna be buttermilk, and it's gonna be 1.5 cups of buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, you can use a cup of milk, a tablespoon of white vinegar, and then top up the rest of it with whatever would bring you to 1/2 cup at that point. That's what I did today. There are some recipes that I don't recommend using that trick for, like my pancake recipe, because it is going to be thinner than buttermilk, but basically it's going to give you the same end result, except that it's going to be thinner. But in the cake recipe, that's perfectly fine. Half a cup of oil, and this would just be a neutral oil of your choice. It can be vegetable oil, avocado oil, or canola oil. And then a cup and a half of warm water. By warm, you don't want it like hot, but it also should be a little bit above room temperature if possible. That helps to deepen the chocolate flavor. And if you wanted to, you could even throw a cup of coffee in here, because that's what some people like to do with it. I just don't mess with it. And then the last thing we're gonna do is our extracts, which for this, because I'm making peppermint cupcakes, I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Actually, I'm gonna do 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I have it written on my card wrong, but I like to do 2 teaspoons. And also 2 teaspoons of peppermint extract. And that's just because I'm doing peppermint cupcakes today, peppermint chocolate cupcakes. If I was making this normally and I wasn't doing the peppermint, I would just do the vanilla extract. I wouldn't add the peppermint in there. And then 4 large eggs. Making cement.
You need more than a hand mixer to make cement.
I'm gonna go around with the spatula.
You
can really smell the peppermint, can't you?
Oh yeah, smells good. Smells very good.
So we don't want to over mix it, so that's why I stopped mixing. Well, that, and I just wanted to make sure I got everything in here. But that's why I stopped mixing with the hand mixer. I just wanted to go ahead and, yes.
He wanted his 10 seconds of fame.
Okay. So I have my cupcake tins all lined here. I have the oven preheating to 350 degrees, and I'm using my biggest ice cream scoop to fill the cupcakes with. I find that doing that is just super helpful in making sure that they turn out all the same size really, and you can control how much goes into each cupcake. And it is perfectly fine. You can probably see right now that it's not filling up the cupcake mold, but we actually don't want it to, because we want the cupcake when it bakes to basically come up to the edge of this, maybe just a little bit higher, but we don't really want it any higher than that. We don't really want it to have a muffin top. It's not a muffin, it's a cupcake. So this is actually the perfect size for this, and that's why I love using my little ice cream / cookie scoop for this, because it makes sure that all of them are the same size and I don't have to do any guesswork with just a regular spoon. But if you don't have one, you can just, you know, pour it in or use spoons. There is always a way to make something tasty. Welcome back, guys. So these just came out of the oven. You can see what I said about how it would turn out to be just about the perfect size. It's just about level with the top of the cupcake holder, except for this one. This guy got a little bit shorted somehow, but that will be perfect for the cupcakes for frosting them, because we can just do the frosting all around that, and it doesn't have any of that weird muffin top section, which is great on muffins, not so great on cupcakes. guys, so here is our final product. It's nice and whipped up, but without being like too thin or anything like that. Because these are peppermint, I want to do a peppermint swirl on the cupcakes, which is gonna look really cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill one bag here, one piping bag with the white, and I'm gonna reserve back a little bit more. I mean, you know, it's not like pure white, but I'm gonna reserve a little bit of this back as well and keep it white. And then I'm just gonna mix up the rest with red food coloring, and it'll end up a little bit pinkish. And then I'll put that in here, and then I'll bring you back while I'm piping. Okay guys, so I am ready to start frosting my cupcakes. Now today, because I wanted to do the swirl, I'm actually trying something that I've never tried before. There's basically two ways that you can do a swirled icing. And last year, what I did was the first way, which is just put the same two colors in your piping bag, like put one color on this side and then put the other color on that side. The problem with that is after you've piped a couple of cupcakes, then the color starts to meld together, and it all kind of ends up as one color at the end, which is okay. It still looks kind of cool. But this time what I did was I did the two piping bag trick. So I have my red in one piping bag and my white in the other piping bag. For one thing, this is gonna make refilling way easier, and hypothetically, it should keep them from mixing besides just being swirled together. So let's see how it looks.
Ooh, that looks good.
It's pretty cool.
Whoa, it worked.
So I'm gonna add just a little bit of sprinkles on these after I get them all iced, and then that is gonna be our peppermint cupcakes. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and leave me a like if you did. Thank you.